NATO will expand in the coming years. The Western Balkans, Georgia, Moldova and Ukraine could become members of the organization, Alliance Deputy Secretary General Mircea Joana believes.
We are living in a complex historical moment that makes even very powerful, very wealthy countries with very competent governments find it difficult to manage an extremely complex situation. It is clear that there is now a redistribution of political and geopolitical influence maps, as well as economic and commercial influence, reputation and central position in Europe and the world. Mircea Joana, NATO Deputy Secretary General, from the publication in the Romanian newspaper.
NATO's eastern flank countries, Romania, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia, regularly become the target of hybrid provocations by the Russian Federation. The U.S. permanent representative to NATO is convinced that the alliance will defend its interest and territory against Moscow's aggression.
How much Russia has lost through this unprovoked war of aggression inside Ukraine. They've lost hundreds of thousands of their own troops, and they've lost a tremendous amount of equipment and valuable capabilities, high-end capabilities. And so we could argue about whether or not they can reconstitute those forces and reproduce some of those capabilities in a few years or in a decade. But what's important is that the NATO alliance is not waiting. We have new plans, new strategy, new doctrine to ensure we can defend every inch of NATO territory.
Russia threatens not only Ukraine but also the states of the alliance, the Czech foreign minister has said. He believes that if West stops helping Kyiv, the European Union and NATO may be under attack. This is why Ukraine should receive all the necessary support in its goal to become a member of the EU and the alliance.
If you look at Russian strategy, it's definitely this. They have plans to build huge armies, so in that respect Ukraine is just one episode in a much broader scheme. And in that context, any assistance to Ukraine makes sense. Jan Lipavsky, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic, in an interview with RBC Ukraine.
Security guarantees for Ukraine are a matter of principle for both Kyiv and its allies. European Union foreign ministers are discussing them in Brussels.
Regarding Ukraine, we will present very advanced security commitments that will be presented at the European Council summit later this week. After the Secretary-General for Security and Defense, my deputy Charles Fries, traveled to Kyiv for consultations with the Ukrainian side. We need to discuss how to move forward with these proposals and increase our support. Josep Borrell, High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy.
Membership in NATO and the EU is a guarantee of security for Ukraine in the future, experts believe, but bilateral cooperation with the alliance and EU members is no less important.
There is such a member of the EU as France. It owns nuclear weapons. Moreover, it has nuclear triad. It has nuclear submarines, also both land-based and air-based missiles. And having certain guarantees from a nuclear country, even with a capability that is smaller than Russia's, it would significantly increase Ukraine's security.
Earlier at the NATO summit in Vilnius, the G7 countries agreed a framework document on security guarantees for Ukraine. Later, consultations were held with Netherlands, France, Italy and Germany, and in December 2023, Ukraine started consultations with the EU on collective security guarantees. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.